Well, pedestrian safety is very important because there are so many people in the state and the country that die every year or seriously injured after being struck by a motor vehicle. We really need to address the problem through education, engineering, and enforcement to really try to reduce the numbers.
City 1106 traffic stop.
We've lived by the rule of thumb here at the police department that in order to decrease your overall crashes, you've got to increase your enforcement activities.
Sir, could you pull forward?
So we've been doing that actively for almost 2 years now, and as a result, we've seen a decrease in our fatalities, we've seen a decrease in citations, and of course an increase in our enforcement actions.
Sir, reason I stopped you, 42 in a 25-mile-an-hour school zone.
And we think that's going to have a direct impact on bicyclist safety, pedestrian safety, and traffic safety overall.
Pedestrian groups that really are affected most of all from pedestrian collisions include children, particularly 5 to 14-year-old children, often being struck in neighborhoods, running into the street, but also senior citizens, people 65 and older that are much more likely to die after they've been struck, and they're not able to get out of the way of motor vehicles as well as when they were younger.
You never want to go to a scene and have somebody, not be living. I mean, you want to make sure that when you come out somewhere, it's always going to be minor. But definitely in school zones, you always have that fear that you're going to respond, someone's going to have died. Several months ago, we had a young man. He was leaving a soccer game and happened to step out into traffic, and vehicles that were traveling ended up striking him. Due to that, there were some lights that there were no lights in a certain area. They did install lights to make it even more visible to allow vehicles to slow down. As speed increases, it makes it difficult for even the crossing guard to step out into traffic, so the slower we can get vehicles allows the crossing guards to step out and slow vehicles down to make sure that no children are struck as they are crossing the street.
One of the ways to make the laws more effective certainly is to review the laws in each state or each local jurisdiction to make sure that they are beneficial to pedestrians and bicyclists. But beyond that, we do have fairly similar pedestrian laws in most states, and that is that motorists are required to yield to pedestrians in legal crosswalks, whether they're marked or unmarked. Motorists need to obey the other rules of the road, stopping at red lights, yielding to pedestrians when the motorists are making right and left turns. Pedestrians also have a responsibility not to just run or step out into the street in front of oncoming traffic. Pedestrians should choose wisely on where they cross, and to just be aware that some motorists do run red lights, or not all motorists see them when they're making right and left turns across a pedestrian's path.
It's a blue and color Ford Explorer, 2 occupants.
Certainly, having the enforcement personnel enforce the laws can really benefit pedestrians in the long run and reduce crashes.
We're in a community with limited sidewalk access. Traffic is increasing, as it is across the state. More people, especially now with fuel prices what they are, we find more people walking and riding bikes, so it's becoming more and more of a problem for us. The SOS committee is a joint effort between law enforcement, city officials, and our local community. We have the same reoccurring problems in our neighborhoods and our community that everybody else has across the street. And we finally decided that rather than approaching it with the traditional approach of law enforcement, that we would involve our community in it. And basically we meet and try to come up with better ideas or better ways or in getting community support and community involvement in addressing some of these traffic safety issues.
There's a North Carolina State citation now, which be in trouble with 42 in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. And
we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just trying to get our communities involved in it and realize that this is an ownership problem. It's not just a police problem.